Starting with the borrower's portal. I have I have 67 stories, and let me start with the provider's portal, since that's where it all starts from. So the provider's portal, I was able to come up with 2 stories: add client, and it reads, as a healthcare provider, I want to create an avenue for my patient so that money does not become a stumbling block for their health. And I have as additional information, patients should have a folder at my center. That means the person should have come to my facility. Patient should need a surgery, depending on the
No, hold on. So what does this story address in the
yes.
feature?
So this story is about me starting the process of starting the whole process of my client obtaining the loan. Or
Okay. So you talk about the application. So
yeah.
the title should be application then.
Oh, okay. So I have my acceptance criteria to be given that the patient has agreed to undergo the procedure or surgery, then I should be able to enter the following of my patient: the first name, last name, email address, telephone number. And given that the biodata has been collected, then it should generate a URL link which is sent to the patient by mail or via text, which also goes with the provider's unique identity, unique ID. Then here I have a dashboard feature for the provider where it says, as a partner, I should have all my activities in one place so I can easily manage them. And I have as additional information, profit is 20% of interest. So acceptance criteria, given that I'm on the provider's page, then I choose the dashboard features. I should see a drop down displaying the following: my client's budget quota, procedure date, and summary sheet. And given that I select the client option, then I should see how many clients I have ever recommended for the opportunity, how many people actually went through with it, how many people have paid more than the initial deposit, and how many people have finished paying. Then secondly, I have, given that I select the budget option, I should see how much money I was given and how much I have used so far. Then I have, given that I select procedure date option, then I should see the schedules of procedure for both past and present patients. Then I should see the contact details of the patient in case of any emergency. Then number of procedures I've done so far, number of successful procedures done so far, and number of unsuccessful. Then given that I select the summary sheet option, then I should see the profits I have made so far, profits yet to be made, number of people I've added, number of people that have cleared their debt, number of people yet to clear, and how much of the disbursement is left. That's for my provider's portal. And so after the link is sent, the borrower starts on the trust page. So as an upcoming member, I should be able to verify that the opportunity is legit so I don't get scammed. So given that I provided the right information to the doctor, then I should receive a mail or a text from the said bank. Then given that I have received the link, then I should be able to click the link and it should redirect me to a secure page. Given that I'm on the secured page, then I should be able to enter my telephone number and the healthcare provider's name to receive an OTP. Given that I received the OTP, I should be able to receive, given that I have received the OTP, I should be able to enter the OTP to continue my application process. And that leads me to application process. Yeah. So as a patient, I should be able to complete my application process so that I can obtain the funds to be able to undergo the procedure. That's my story. And I have as additional information procedure code.
So this story that you have, application process, what's the difference between this and then the ad client?
Come again?
I'm asking what is the difference between this story that you have and then the first one?
So the other one is stemming the trust page and this one. Is that what you're asking? Hello.
Okay, all right. Keep going.
So this is where the other one is confirmation page, and this is where the customer begins the application process. So given that I am successfully directed to the application page, then I should be able to enter the following: my name, gender, age, job status, marital status, address, next of kin, social security number, and in case of emergency contact, type of procedure to be undertaken. If I've ever performed a procedure, I should be able to state it here, and how much I can deposit as my initial payment and how much I make in a year. And yeah, basically that's it for the application. And after my application checks out, I move to my payment option. And the payment, as I have my story as a patient, I should be able to know everything about my payment so that I can pay off my debts conveniently and in a timely fashion. I have here as my additional information, legitimacy is confirmed using the social security number to check credit score. And having 600 plus credit score, loan is approved, otherwise it's denied. Then I have my user stories as given that I'm done with the application process, I should be able to see the following on the payments page. Check legitimacy, loan status, auto pay, pay and payoff. I chose 13% interest rate as instant payoff because if I'm paying instantly, then I should have an advantage. Then so I have as my next criteria as given that I click on the check legitimacy button, then I should receive a pop-up saying that legitimacy confirmed if credit score is above 600, else denied, and it should take like 10 seconds. And given that I received the pop-up, a 10-second countdown timer is displayed and everything on the screen is disabled. So I wait for the 10 seconds. Then um, given that if my legitimacy is confirmed, I'm given the option to proceed. If my legitimacy is denied, then I am given the option to get a refund of my initial deposit. Then given that legitimacy is confirmed, then the patient should be redirected to the loan options to be able to choose um, the kind of loan format he wants. Um, then if that is done, then I should be redirected back to my payment option. Then I have this as my acceptance criteria next. Given that I choose pay, then I can make payment now and subsequently from the following: Zelle, PayPal, Visa or MasterCard, Android Pay, Apple Pay, Cash App. And given that I click on the pay button now, I should receive an email, an email or a text of confirmation of payment in 30 seconds. And given that I choose autopay, then similarly I can pay via the following payment platforms and set my payment methods for the future. So I can issue a standing order sort of. Then and given that I choose the pay off option, I still am able to make payment via the following options and still receive a confirmation after 10 seconds of my payment. So I can also check my loan status option here to see how much I owe, how much I have paid, and that if I have cleared my debt and when is my next payment date. So I move to my loan option. So as a patient, I should be able to choose a loan option that's favorable to my earnings so that I'm able to pay off my debt fully. So I will be redirected from the payments to here when I get to that portion. And given that my legitimacy has been confirmed, then I should have the following payments option. If my procedure falls within the range of $500 to $1,005, I should have a minimum of 6 months, a maximum of 6 months to pay off my debt. If it falls between 1,600 and 10,000, I should have like a 12 months duration. If it's 11,000 to 50,000, I have 20 months duration. And if it's 51,000 to 99,000 is 13 months, then 100,000 and above is 36 months, since no one goes beyond the 36 months.
Okay, you have 2 minutes more.
Okay. Then I have my procedure schedules. So as a patient, I want to be able to schedule the time for my procedure so I can prepare myself mentally and emotionally. Then the people around me to, if I need support from church too, I can duly inform them. And dates cannot exceed 60 days of registering. And when date is chosen, it's a copy is sent to the provider. That's my additional information. And given that my things are in order, then I can choose my procedure date from a date engine. For service portal, I have I have four stories. So pendants. So um, if the borrower and the provider initiates um, the process, it passes through the, should I, for better word, the office of the service portal, sort of. Yes, and I have here underpinned my story. As a service staff, I should have access to all pending requests so I can push it through to ensure business continuity. And additional information, if I have an application, if an application is chosen to be worked on, then it should be removed from the list to prevent two people from working on the application. Given that I'm on the service portal as a service staff, then I should have access to the following many options: pendants, reports, clients. And given that I select the pending option, I should have a drop down of the following: application and loans. And given that I select an application option, then I should be able to see the application to be able to select which applications to work on. And given that I have chosen an application to work on, then I should be able to see everything, all the details provided by the applicant, its deposit amounts and social security number. Then given that I select a loan option, I should be able to see the loans so that I can approve them, which ones need work on, which one needs to be cancelled or not. Then, given that I chose the loan to work on, I should be able to see the loan in order to verify if the person is on course or there's a problem somewhere.
Okay, all right, James. You take it from here.
Okay,
Okay.
let me stop sharing.
All right. Good morning, guys. Um, I must admit that like, it's not a complete job here because stakeholder engagement has been very tough. Stakeholder is a very busy person. Just going to start with providers portal here. Um, so I have my short description to provide the ability to render medical service to a patient. And I start here with the start new application. So as a healthcare provider, I want to have the ability to access the initial application page on the provider portal so that I can trigger an application for a patient who is in need of financial assistance for medical procedure. And then I put in here some additional information for the login, my acceptance criteria, given that the registered healthcare provider enters and provider.moneymanagedbank.com/EL into the browser. Healthcare providers shall be directed to the provider portal login page. And healthcare providers shall enter the valid username and password. Healthcare providers shall click on the login button and they will be directed to the new page for the catalog of the following features. Got some features here. And then the healthcare provider shall click on the new application feature button and healthcare provider shall be redirected to a new page where they will fill in the following fields: so patient name, last name, patient first name, last name, phone number, and email. Healthcare provider shall click on the submit button. After all these fields have been filled, the system shall send a link to the patient via email or text message for them to finish the application process. Yeah. Yeah. So reports on outstanding budget. As a healthcare provider, I want to have the ability to access the report on outstanding budget page on the provider portal so that I can have the ability, so that I can view reports on all outstanding budgets. So here's additional information of how the login is supposed to be, given that a registered healthcare provider enters this in the URL, healthcare providers shall be directed to the login page. They will log in. They shall be directed to a new page with all these features. They will click on the reports and outstanding budgets. I'm actually not done. I'm still engaging with the stakeholders, so I believe that I will be able to finish that. This is just a process. Let me just go back to upcoming procedures. I want to have the ability to access upcoming procedure page on the provider portal so that I can see an upcoming medical procedures in my calendar. And then have the additional information here, the criteria, acceptance criteria, given that registered provider enters provider.amb.com// into the browser. Registered provider shall be directed to the provider portal login page and enter their valid username and password and log into the system, which shall be directed to these features. They will click on the upcoming medical procedures feature button. And they will be on that page, and there shall be a calendar engine on this page displaying schedule of an upcoming procedures. Then the provider will have the ability to view all upcoming procedures on the provider portal. Patient list. My bad. I said provider. I want to have the ability to access the list of loan borrowers on the page.
Is this for a provider or a lender? Because I see that as a lender.
I just a typo, and I believe that it was supposed to be a provider. It's just a typo. You have to fix that. Application summary. Let me see this one. Okay, this is not there. I'll just move on to the next one. Let's say interviews for. So here the secure page. As a patient, I want to have the ability to access the secure page so that I can authenticate and verify my identity. So given that the patient is sent a verification link, a provider sends a verification link via text message or by the provider. When the patient clicks or tap onto the link, they shall be redirected to the secure page. Patient shall put their phone number they provided at the healthcare provider's office during the visit for the verification at the form field. Patient shall click on the send code button. The system shall send a one-time password as a message to the patient phone or email. Patient shall enter the code in the code for the area to verify and click on submit button. Payments. I want to have access to the payment page of the borrower portal so that I can submit the preferred method of payments, my loan to the bank, and then additional information, acceptance criteria, given that the registered enter the borrower.nb.com/mail into the browser. Valid username and password will be entered. They will be logged into the system. They will have a catalog of all these features. Now, the registered patient shall click on the payments feature button. They'll be directed to the payment page. Now, the patient shall select their preferred method of payment from the following: Visa, MasterCard, Patient shall have the ability to set up automatic payments online using the checking account or debit or credit card at moneymattersbank.com. Mail. Registered patient can also mail the check through the Money Matters address. This I use the other one that we use. There shall be also a payoff button where a patient can click and see the remaining balance of the amount. Patient shall have the ability to pay in full the remaining loan balance by selecting any of the above payment methods. Registered payment shall fill in the required information after selecting their preferred method of payment. Then the patient shall have the ability to select the preferred method of payment on the Money Matters Bank borrower portal. Financial statements. So ability to access financial statements feature on the borrower portal with the AMB, Money Matters Bank, so that they can view all their financial statements. These are all additional information. Given that the registered patient enter borrower.nb./BL, they'll valid username and password. They'll have the ability to log into the system. All these features will be available to them, but this is not complete, so I'm still working on it. new account application. On this one. As a patient, I want to have the ability to start a new application on the MNP Borough portal page so that I can request financial assistance for my medical procedure. Now, and additional information, there shall be a calendar engine where the patients can select their dates for the medical procedure. The selected date should not exceed 60 days from the time of the application. There shall be a credit score functionality with FICO. Given that the patient has completed their two-step identity verification on the secure page using the provider's link, patients shall be redirected to a new account application page where they shall be required to fill these fields. So first name, middle name, last name, address, date, zip code, phone number, email. Patients shall enter the amount that they are requesting. In the amount field, patients shall enter down payment amount in the down payment field. Patients shall select the scheduled date for the medical procedure not exceeding 60 days from the time of application. Patients shall be requested for a credit check with FICO score, a credit score. Patients shall enter a 9-digit SSN number in the credit score field. Patients shall click on submit button and they shall receive an approval or denial message instantly. So let me just go to the numbers quickly. With the lenders, I have all these stores, loans portfolio. As a loan lender, I want to have the ability to access my loan portfolio page so I can view all financial portfolios on the lender portal page. So put an additional information for the login, the same login procedure. There'll be all these features available to them, and then they will concentrate on the financial portfolios and I'm still engaging with the stakeholders. So I will hit complete it once we get through with it. Partner healthcare providers. As an admin, I want to have the ability to view all my partner healthcare providers so that I can monitor their financial activities with regards to the loans, disbursements. And the same way the login is going to work, they will see all these features, but then they will concentrate. Then they shall click on the view healthcare providers, but then they shall be redirected. But then I did a very a subtags here where it's and I just put in some examples of healthcare offices and names that has partnered with the bank.
Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest to you. We will circle back again sometime, maybe early next week, or maybe Friday to take care of the rest of the presentation. But tomorrow, this is going to be the schedule. So tomorrow, I want you guys to be on time because I'll start exactly 6 a.m. Eben, you start first for 15 minutes. From 6 to 6:15, and then Bernice will start from 6:15 to 6:30, and then Kofi, you will end with you'll be the last person from 6:30 to 6:45, and then for the 15 minutes left, I will touch on the decision table, or I will do I'm going to work on the agile ceremonies and how they fit into the development calendar. So we really have to work with the time, right? So tomorrow, make sure that you're on time to present exactly 6, so that by 6:45 I'll have that 15 minutes to do the decision table or maybe the agile ceremonies and then the development calendar. That's a very important session as well. All right, guys. Any question? It's already 7. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.